What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about PayPal. I want to go over some of the current data points, what's been really moving PayPal, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. Starting off, it is up 1.34%. Market's been open roughly around 15 minutes. A fair amount of volume, so 267,000 shares being traded. 11.9 million is the average. These are some of the transactions that have already occurred on the secondary market above $100,000. So you do see a big one, 6.73 million. So larger entities are looking at PayPal. What came out this morning though, retail sales a lot better than anticipated. So it came in flat versus a forecast to be negative 0.3. So the market has somewhat normalized once again. So good data obviously causes the stock prices and just the market to go higher. So we're not in that backward scenario because in essence, I think we've already had sufficient amount of data coming out to justify rate cuts. And that's what the market does want. So based on everything, it goes to show that people's buying power, consumers' buying power has really increased and will continue to increase with rate cuts. So thus, a lot of stocks such as PayPal is going to flourish. So right now there is a 93.3% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut for the September 18th meeting. And also for the following meeting on November the 7th, a 60.3% likelihood of another 25 basis point cut. So that would be absolutely huge for the broader market. Currently, the fear and greed index is at 63. So people's appetite for risk is very much on the table. So thus, a lot of discount plays such as PayPal definitely can move up from here. And this is something I've been talking about. So I've done roughly like 3 videos on PayPal talking about why I did decide to buy and kind of my swing trade pattern, what I kind of intend on doing. So I just want to quickly pop over to 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧 and give you a quick overview of some data points, starting off with this right here. So there was 2 ratings that came out 5 days ago. Buy rating, $78 price target by KBW, Sinjay, who has a 72% success rating, which is definitely very good. And another one 5 days ago, $90 price target, 𝗪𝗧𝗎, Dan, who has a 50% success rating. So as a consensus, roughly around 22.3% upside is anticipated, because all the ratings combined is roughly around $74.96. I have referred to this in the past due to PayPal really showing a lot of good strength, holding its support levels fairly well. It's kind of moved up a little bit, so it does have a pivot point of $57.30. So for as long as PayPal is above that, then it is anticipated to get between that 66 and 67.60 range. So fairly optimistic for that. As I've said in the past, I did buy in at $58.15, give or take around there. And to my swing trade, my target, at least in the short term, was going to be around $65. So I'm open, transparent. I showed you guys the transaction and everything like that. So I'm pretty happy with kind of where PayPal is heading towards, the data that's been coming out. So it all does signal that this is probably going to be coming sooner rather than later. And analysts can't be more optimistic, as you can kind of see. Even though there has been a lot of downward revisions for their upcoming earnings, I'll give you guys a quick overview of that. I've already stated I'm going to do a dedicated video all about their upcoming earnings and some expectations. As you can kind of see, it is slated for the 30th, so roughly around a week and a bit, but it is pre-market. 31 negative revisions to the earnings per share over the last 90 days. So not necessarily the best, but then again, I think the market just did a complete 180 roughly a week ago, based on CPI data, what Powell said at that stage. So I think that has been what really switched the market. So analysts haven't really had time to adjust their earnings per share or kind of their ratings and stuff like that. So in my opinion, PayPal is a screaming buying opportunity. I'm going to go over some of the data points that I like to bring up, starting off with shorts. Just for transparency, I do not see PayPal being a squeeze play by any means. I just like to bring this up more for analysis purposes. So right now, shorts are returning roughly around 4,000 shares. 2.08% of the free float is being shorted, so very low numbers. Like I said, definitely not a squeeze play, but by them returning a small amount and not really doubling down, it goes to show that today's green day is justified. 21.67 million shares overall are being shorted, and then short score is 28.33%. And like I said, if shorts really were doubtful about today's green day, they have more than enough ammunition to double the hell down. There's more than 10 million shares available to be shorted, and it is fairly cheap to kind of short. So 0.41%, and that's through 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗧 once again. So yeah, I do feel a lot more upside is coming for PayPal, and clearly based on a lot of the data points I'm bringing up. Moving on to options, 2.03 million in calls, 155,000 in puts. Obviously, that's not a really good representation of what normally does happen because the market's only been open like 20 something minutes. Moving over to the last 2 days though, 10 million in calls, 2.86 million in puts. You do see this very much abnormal amount that was done in one candle. So one entity yesterday purchased roughly around $1.6 million in calls, and it looks like it's more oriented around that 65 to around $65 by the end of July the 19th, so by this Friday. So kind of crazy, a lot of optimism when it comes to PayPal. So do you think that it's going to be over 65? If it does, those calls are going to print like a crazy, like that's how you make a lot of money ultimately in the market, is by doing options. So if you guys don't know options, definitely learn it. Highly recommend you guys doing that. But looking at the call options that are being purchased, you do see a consensus for it to be above roughly between that 62.50 and 65. This is that big entity right there. And then looking at puts, you do see a consensus for it to be sub. Like, it's not really much going on right now within the first, like I said, 15-20 minutes, but roughly between that 60 or sub 60. So risk versus reward is very much in favor of upside. Right now with it at $61.41, it is successfully above this pivot point of 61.18. So in theory, this is where you can easily have that 65 hit. So 65.42 is going to be that next strong resistance slash target. Very wide gap, so anticipate a lot of volatility in the foreseeable future, but nonetheless, technicals are very much in favor of a lot of upside. As you can kind of even see based on this, it is higher percentile of the Bollinger Band, stochastic, nice bullish deviation, so white line above the red. It is somewhat considered overbought, so the first sign of weakness, you could see a pullback as what has happened in the past right here and right here. But nonetheless, I feel like there is going to be a broad market kind of rotation. And I think a lot more, like a lot of analysts are starting to bring that up because of this. So there's record numbers in money markets just sitting there waiting for a good opportunity to enter back into them, like equities and crypto, for instance. But right now there's around just over $6 trillion in money markets. So there is going to be that nice rotation similar to what we saw in 2020 in 2021. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people already know what happened in 2021. Everything just went up like a mother crazy thing. So yeah, I think there's a lot of upside. PayPal, my $65 kind of swing trade is probably rather conservative. What I'll do is I'll just leave a lot of the profits on the table and let that ride, because given PayPal, if there is that true big market rotation that is happening that a lot of analysts are kind of estimating is going to happen, then PayPal, like 65 is just the tip of the iceberg. 70, 80, and then this is where big things can come. So let me know your thoughts on PayPal. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Do you currently own PayPal? Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you been doing? One final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.